Everyone knows Shedeur Sanders is now an Adidas athlete, but do you really know why? Forget the rumors about big money deals. There's a strategic, almost hidden reason behind his monumental switch that goes beyond just endorsements. Prepare to have your mind blown when we reveal the true genius move behind Shedeur's Adidas allegiance. Picture this. A two-year-old college quarterback walks into a boardroom where executives from the world's most powerful athletic brand are waiting. They're not just offering him money. They're offering him something that's never been offered to any college football player in history. And what happens next doesn't just change his life, it rewrites the entire playbook for how young athletes build generational wealth. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming, and it has everything to do with a pair of cleats that sat in a closet for nearly 30 years. This is the story of how Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign a contract, he orchestrated one of the most brilliant NIL strategies ever executed, and the secret ingredient wasn't his arm strength or his stats. It was something far more valuable, something that most athletes completely overlook, and something that turned a college quarterback into a $6.5 million brand before he ever took a single snap in the NFL. You're about to discover exactly how he did it, and more importantly, why every other athlete is now scrambling to copy his blueprint. But first, let me tell you about the moment everything changed, because it wasn't when you think it was. August 28, 2024. Most college football players were focused on their season openers, running drills, studying playbooks. Shedeur Sanders was making history. Nike, the company that had never signed a college football player to an NIL deal, was about to break their own rules. But this wasn't just about talent. This wasn't just about potential. This was about something much more strategic, something that had been building for decades without anyone realizing it. See, while everyone was talking about Shedeur's arm, his leadership, his stats at Colorado, they were missing the real story. The real story started in 1996, when a flashy cornerback named Deion Sanders stepped onto NFL fields wearing a pair of Nike cleats that would become legendary. Those Air DT Max 96 seconds weren't just shoes, they were a statement. They were the beginning of a brand relationship that would lay dormant for nearly 3 decades, waiting for the perfect moment to resurface. But here's where it gets interesting, because Shedeur didn't just inherit his father's athletic ability. He inherited something far more valuable in today's market. He inherited a brand legacy that most people didn't even realize existed. And while other young athletes were chasing quick money and flashy deals, Shedeur was playing a completely different game. The first clue that something bigger was happening came from how Shedeur talked about the Nike deal. Most athletes, when they sign with a major brand, they talk about the money, the exposure, the products. Shedeur said something different. He said it was more about what could be passed down year after year. That phrase, those 11 words, revealed a strategy that goes far beyond typical endorsement thinking. You see, while everyone else was focused on the immediate impact of NIL deals, Shedeur was thinking generationally. He wasn't just signing a contract for himself. He was positioning himself as the bridge between his father's legacy and his own future family's potential. He was creating what business strategists call a brand dynasty, and he was doing it at 22 years old. But the genius of this strategy goes even deeper, because Shedeur understood something that most young athletes miss completely. In today's NIL landscape, authenticity is everything. Fans can smell a manufactured partnership from a mile away. They can tell when an athlete is just cashing a check versus when they're genuinely connected to a brand. And Shedeur's connection to Nike wasn't manufactured, it was inherited, it was authentic, and it was powerful. Think about it this way. When Nike released a new version of the Air DT Max, 96 inches, Colorado Buffaloes colors, to honor this partnership, they weren't just making a shoe. They were creating a tangible link between 2 generations of athletic excellence. They were telling a story that money can't buy, a story that resonates with fans on an emotional level that goes far beyond sports performance. Now, here's where the strategy gets really sophisticated, because while this family legacy was the foundation, Shedeur built something entirely his own on top of it. He didn't just ride his father's coattails. He used them as a launching pad to create something bigger. Look at the numbers. By 2025, Shedeur's NIL valuation reached $6.5 million, making him one of the highest valued college athletes in history. But here's what's remarkable about those numbers. They weren't built on football performance alone. They were built on a carefully orchestrated brand strategy that combined legacy, authenticity, and modern digital marketing in a way that had never been done before. The portfolio Shedeur assembled reads like a masterclass in brand diversification. Nike for athletic wear and legacy, Beats by Dre for lifestyle and culture, Brady brand for football-specific gear and mentorship connections, Gatorade for performance and mainstream appeal, Mercedes-Benz for luxury and aspiration. Each partnership wasn't random. Each one served a specific purpose in building a comprehensive brand ecosystem. But the real genius wasn't in the partnerships themselves. It was in how Shedeur leveraged his social media presence to amplify each relationship. With 2.1 million Instagram followers and growing, he wasn't just posting sponsored content. He was creating authentic moments that showcased how these brands fit naturally into his life and his journey. And here's where we need to talk about timing, because Shedeur's Nike deal didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened at the exact moment when NIL regulations were still evolving, when brands were still figuring out how to navigate this new landscape, and when being first mattered more than being perfect. By becoming Nike's first college football NIL signing, Shedeur didn't just secure a deal, he secured a place in history. He became the case study that every other brand would reference when considering their own college athlete partnerships. He became the proof of concept that showed major corporations that college athletes could deliver the same brand value as professional athletes, sometimes even more. But let's dig deeper into what made this strategy so effective, because it wasn't just about the brands he chose to work with, it was about how he positioned himself within each partnership. Instead of being just another athlete endorser, Shedeur positioned himself as a collaborator, as someone who could bring unique value to each brand relationship. Take the Nike partnership as an example. This wasn't just Shedeur wearing Nike gear and posting about it. This was Nike creating custom colorways, releasing heritage products, and building entire marketing campaigns around the Sanders family legacy. Shedeur became not just a spokesperson, but a creative partner in developing products and campaigns that resonated with multiple generations of consumers. The Brady brand partnership showed another dimension of his strategy. By aligning with Tom Brady's company, Shedeur wasn't just getting another endorsement deal. He was positioning himself within a network of elite quarterbacks, learning from one of the greatest to ever play the position, and associating his brand with excellence and longevity. Each partnership was strategic, each one built on the previous ones, and each one contributed to a larger narrative about who Shedeur Sanders was as both an athlete and a brand. Now, here's where the story takes an interesting turn, because while Shedeur was building this incredible NIL portfolio, he was also performing on the field at an elite level. This wasn't a case of style over substance. This was substance enhanced by sophisticated style, and that combination proved to be incredibly powerful. His performance at Colorado, leading the team through high-profile games, handling media pressure, and consistently delivering in clutch moments, provided the credibility that made all of his brand partnerships feel authentic. Fans weren't just buying into Shedeur the brand, they were buying into Shedeur the player. And that dual appeal created a multiplier effect that elevated his entire NIL value. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of Shedeur's strategy was how he managed to honor his father's legacy while establishing his own identity. This is incredibly difficult to do, especially when your father is as iconic as Deion Sanders. Many children of famous athletes struggle with this balance, either trying too hard to separate themselves or getting lost in their parents' shadow. Shedeur found a third path. He embraced the legacy while making it clear that he was writing his own chapter. When he talked about the Nike deal being about what could be passed down year after year, he was positioning himself not as the end of his father's story, but as the beginning of his own family's brand dynasty. This forward-thinking approach resonated with brands because it suggested longevity. It suggested that partnering with Shedeur wasn't just about the next few years, but about building relationships that could span decades and potentially generations. The social media component of his strategy deserves special attention because Shedeur understood something that many athletes miss. Social media isn't just about posting content, it's about building relationships. His 2.1 million Instagram followers weren't just numbers, they were engaged community members who felt connected to his journey. He shared behind-the-scenes moments, family interactions, training sessions, and personal reflections in a way that felt genuine and accessible. This wasn't a carefully managed corporate social media presence. This was a young man sharing his authentic experience, and that authenticity translated directly into brand value. When Shedeur posted about a Nike product or a Gatorade workout, his followers didn't see it as advertising. They saw it as a recommendation from someone they felt they knew personally. That level of trust and connection is incredibly valuable to brands, and it's something that can't be manufactured or bought. The timing of his NIL strategy also coincided perfectly with broader changes in how young consumers interact with brands. Gen Z consumers, who make up a significant portion of Shedeur's following, are more likely to support brands that feel authentic, that have genuine connections to the people endorsing them, and that align with their values and interests. Shedeur's partnerships checked all of these boxes. His connection to Nike felt authentic because of the family history. His association with performance brands like Gatorade felt genuine because fans could see his work ethic and dedication. His luxury partnerships felt aspirational but attainable because he presented them in a relatable way. As we look at the broader impact of Shedeur's NIL strategy, it's clear that he didn't just build a successful personal brand. He helped establish a new template for how college athletes can approach brand building in the NIL era. Before Shedeur, most college athlete endorsements were relatively simple. Wear this product, post about it, collect a check. Shedeur showed that college athletes could be true brand partners, that they could bring creative input, authentic storytelling, and genuine value to major corporations. His success opened doors for other college athletes to negotiate more sophisticated partnerships, to think more strategically about their brand development, and to view their college careers not just as preparation for professional sports, but as opportunities to build lasting business relationships and personal brands. The $6.5 million valuation that Shedeur achieved by 2025 wasn't just a number, it was proof of concept. It showed that college athletes, when they approach NIL strategically, can generate the same kind of brand value that professional athletes command. But perhaps the most important lesson from Shedeur's NIL strategy is about the power of authenticity in brand building. In an era where consumers are bombarded with advertising and sponsored content, authentic connections stand out. Shedeur's success came not from trying to be something he wasn't, but from finding sophisticated ways to present who he authentically was. His family legacy wasn't something he tried to hide or overcome, it was something he embraced and built upon. His personality wasn't something he tried to manufacture for social media, it was something he shared genuinely with his followers. His athletic ability wasn't something he overhyped, it was something he demonstrated consistently on the field. This authenticity created a foundation of trust that made all of his brand partnerships more effective. When fans trust an athlete, they're more likely to trust the brands that athlete endorses. When brands see that an athlete has genuine influence with their audience, they're willing to invest more in that partnership. The ripple effects of Shedeur's NIL success extend far beyond his personal brand. His approach has influenced how other college athletes think about their own NIL opportunities, how brands approach college sports partnerships, and how universities support their student athletes in building personal brands. Other athletes have started thinking more strategically about their social media presence, about the brands they choose to partner with, and about how they can leverage their family connections and personal stories to create authentic brand narratives. Brands have started looking for college athletes who can offer more than just social media posts, who can be genuine partners in product development and marketing campaigns, and who have the kind of authentic influence that translates into real business results. Universities have started providing more sophisticated support for their student athletes' NIL activities, recognizing that successful NIL programs can enhance their overall athletic programs and help them attract top talent. As Shedeur transitions from college to professional football, his NIL strategy provides a blueprint for how professional athletes can build and maintain authentic brand relationships throughout their careers. The partnerships he's built, the audience he's cultivated, and the brand identity he's established won't disappear when he enters the NFL. They'll evolve and potentially become even more valuable. The story of Shedeur Sanders' NIL strategy is ultimately a story about vision, authenticity, and strategic thinking. It's about a young athlete who understood that in today's sports landscape, success isn't just measured in wins and losses. It's measured in the ability to build lasting relationships with fans, brands, and communities. It's about recognizing that every athlete has a unique story to tell, and that the most successful athletes are those who find authentic ways to share that story with the world. It's about understanding that brand building isn't about creating a fake persona. It's about finding sophisticated ways to present your authentic self. Most importantly, it's about the power of thinking generationally, of building something that can last beyond your playing career, beyond your individual success, and beyond your own lifetime. Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign endorsement deals, he built a legacy. And that legacy will continue to influence how athletes, brands, and fans think about the intersection of sports, business, and authentic storytelling for years to come. The next time you see a college athlete signing an NIL deal, remember Shedeur's story. Remember that the most successful partnerships aren't just about money, they're about authenticity, strategy, and the courage to think bigger than the immediate opportunity. Because, in the end, that's what separates good athletes from great brands, and great brands from generational legacies.